Greetings everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's discussion we will embark on a deep historical journey that revolves around a pivotal turning point in the United States timeline. The 13th Amendment and its lasting influence on the legacy of slavery. This episode plans to unpack and examine this critical amendment in a way that challenges what you believe you know about it, while shining light on its real implications. You might remember from your high school history lessons that the 13th Amendment, ratified in 1865, marked the official termination of slavery and involuntary servitude, standing as a landmark achievement in the post-Civil War era. The Civil War was a turbulent period, a gruesome battle that pitted brother against brother over the deeply embedded institution of slavery, casting a grim shadow in the annals of American history. However, the actual impact and scope of the 13th Amendment may not be as straightforward or definitive as your history books might have suggested. Hidden beneath the layers of complex legal terminology and the glorified narrative of the emancipation, there lurks a loophole. This loophole, a subtle catch, has allowed the specter of slavery to persist, albeit in a different disguise. This loophole is intricately woven into the very wording of the amendment itself, which proclaims, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States, or any place subject to their jurisdiction." Stripped of its legal complexities, it essentially insinuates that slavery and involuntary servitude can still be imposed as punishments for crimes. So, what does this mean in context? It implies that the legacy of slavery still echoes in the lives of many individuals concealed under the mask of criminal punishment. It's a significant and troubling reality that is frequently overlooked in our comprehension of American history and its legal framework. This intentional legal ambiguity has far-reaching consequences for the criminal justice system and the prison infrastructure. It has led to the systemic criminalization of certain groups and has instigated alarmingly high rates of incarceration among specific racial and ethnic populations. These issues can be traced directly back to this pernicious loophole. The exploitation and perpetuation of this loophole stand as a glaring example of ingrained racism, a factor that continues to fan the flames of racial inequality in the U.S. Additionally, the 13th Amendment has fundamentally shifted the structure of American society and its institutions. The amendment's legal ambiguity has been used to perpetuate a cycle of criminalization and incarceration that disproportionately impacts people of color. This cycle has had a profound effect on the economic, social, and political fabric of the United States, influencing everything from voting rights to socio-economic mobility. So join me as we delve deeper into understanding the ramifications of this historical milestone on the U.S. criminal justice system, the prison infrastructure, and the persisting issue of racial inequality in this country. This is a journey into understanding how a single piece of legislation has shaped and continues to shape the fabric of American society. According to the Prison Policy Initiative, the United States has the highest incarceration rate in the world, with more than 2.3 million people behind bars, equating to about 698 people for every 100,000 residents. When compared to other countries such as Canada, which has an incarceration rate of 114 per 100,000 residents, or Germany, with 77 per 100,000, the scale of the issue becomes starkly clear. This astonishing figure, representing an alarming percentage of the population, has been the subject of many debates, studies, and discussions. The demographics of the incarcerated population are also a significant point of contention, with the overwhelming majority being individuals from marginalized communities, particularly Black Americans. According to the NAACP, African Americans are incarcerated at more than 5 times the rate of white Americans. In 2014, African Americans constituted 2.3 million, or 34%, of the total 6.8 million correctional population. These individuals, who find themselves disproportionately targeted by the judicial system, are frequently arrested, prosecuted, and sentenced for various crimes. This disproportionality reflects a systemic issue within the vast machinations of the American criminal justice system. This issue is not confined to the courtrooms and police stations, but extends its effects into the heart of the prison systems themselves. In these prisons, many of these individuals are coerced into labor for negligible wages, or in some cases no wages at all, under conditions that eerily echo the sentiments of enslavement. The work they do ranges widely, from manufacturing products for various private corporations and governmental agencies to performing labor-intensive tasks. They produce clothing, furniture, electronics, and even food items, contributing significantly to the economy. Moreover, they are also responsible for more laborious tasks, such as cleaning, cooking, laundry, and even firefighting. The weight of these duties, coupled with the conditions under which they are performed, led some to argue that this is nothing less than a form of modern-day slavery. It's a system that degrades and exploits a significant number of individuals, generating billions of dollars in profits for corporations and the state. These critics point to a loophole in the 13th Amendment, a clause they believe is designed to perpetuate the legacy of slavery and racism in America. They argue that this loophole is a stark reminder of the discriminatory practices of the past and advocate for its abolishment or amendment. On the other hand, there are those who disagree with this perspective. They see prison labor as a legitimate practice, beneficial not just for the prison system, but also for the inmates themselves. They argue that these work programs provide rehabilitation, training, and discipline. They maintain that it fosters a sense of responsibility and skills that can be transferred to society after sentence, potentially reducing recidivism rates. Furthermore, they argue that these programs are cost-effective, saving taxpayers money, and helping to alleviate the issue of prison overcrowding. They believe that the 13th Amendment, which symbolizes the abolition of slavery, was intended to eradicate all forms of slavery. Therefore, any practices that bear semblance to slavery or involuntary servitude are unconstitutional and should be legally challenged. This complex issue, with its multifaceted arguments and counterarguments, forms the basis of an ongoing debate, generating a wide range of opinions and perspectives. Others disagree and say that prison labor is a legitimate and beneficial practice that provides rehabilitation, training, and discipline for inmates, while saving taxpayers money and reducing prison overcrowding. They say that the 13th Amendment was intended to end slavery in all its forms, and that any practices that resemble slavery or involuntary servitude are unconstitutional and should be challenged in court. What do you think? Are you leaning more towards agreement or disagreement with either side of this dynamic debate? The dialogue surrounding the 13th Amendment can take many forms. Some argue that it was a significant milestone that helped shape a more equal society, while others argue that it contains a controversial clause permitting involuntary servitude as punishment for crime, leading to the exploitation of prison labor. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, so please feel free to share in the comments section below. Your voice and viewpoint are valuable, and your insights could open up new perspectives on this topic. If you find this video informative and engaging, I kindly ask you to give it a thumbs up. This action is a simple yet effective way to spread information to more and more people who might benefit from this content. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Your support enables me to create and share more significant content regularly. Before you go, I'd like to provide some additional knowledge. I've delved deep into the internet to find more information about this topic. I used Bing, a proficient search engine that assists you in finding exactly what you're looking for, to land on some credible and relevant sources. The results were quite enlightening. One of the key sources is the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, Abolition of Slavery, 1865. This is an invaluable page from the esteemed National Archives that offers historical background and context. It includes a transcript of the original document, shedding light on the original words and intentions. The source also explains how President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, while groundbreaking, did not completely eradicate slavery nationwide. It was the 13th Amendment, passed and ratified by the states after the bloody Civil War, that ended this detestable practice. This source also delves into the controversial prison labor aspect of the 13th Amendment. Another useful resource is the Wikipedia article titled 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. This article provides a comprehensive overview of the 13th Amendment, discussing its history, interpretation, enduring impact, and the debates surrounding prison labor. It offers a balanced view of various perspectives involved, and also connects the past with the present. For those who want to dive deeper, this article also offers hyperlinks to several other resources and references. It's a treasure trove for anyone interested in understanding the comprehensive history and implications of the 13th Amendment. So, if you're eager to learn more about the 13th Amendment and its profound implications, including the issue of prison labor, I wholeheartedly recommend checking out these sources. They will offer you a deeper comprehension of the topic and encourage you to form your own well-informed opinion. Thank you for your time and attention, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next video. Moving forward, we delve into a contentious issue, the Patriot Act and its implications for personal freedom and privacy. To grasp the gravity of this subject, we must dig deep into the historical background of this piece of legislation. Drafted in response to the catastrophic 9/11 terrorist attacks in 2001, the U.S. government felt a pressing obligation to take vigorous actions to avert further attacks on its land. These measures materialized in the form of the U.S. Patriot Act, a law that greatly expanded the government's surveillance capabilities. The Patriot Act, officially known as the Uniting and Strengthening America, by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism Act of 2001, was primarily engineered to deter terrorist activities. It granted law enforcement a wide range of powers. The act allows for extensive surveillance activities, including roving wiretaps, accessing business records, tracking internet activities, delayed notice search warrants, and much more. These powers were designed to enable law enforcement agencies to keep tabs on potential threats more effectively. However, critics argue that these measures have crossed the line, leading to an unwarranted intrusion into individual privacy. They contend that such broad and sweeping powers are a violation of civil liberties and personal privacy, which constitute the bedrock of a free society. Living under constant surveillance can evoke a profound sense of discomfort and paranoia. This sensation can be to a form of modern slavery. Much like chains that confine and restrict movement, the all-seeing eye of surveillance constrains the free expression of thoughts and actions. It instills a sense of fear and self-censorship, breeding a life where privacy is no longer a right but a privilege. This oppressive feeling starkly contrasts with the principles of freedom and liberty we associate with modern democratic societies. The privilege of privacy, often taken for granted, dissipates under the gaze of surveillance. The perception of freedom alters dramatically. The idea of eternal surveillance and its psychological toll can be viewed as a form of control, strongly paralleling the concept of modern slavery we discussed earlier. By drawing parallels, we can gain a deeper understanding of the severe impact surveillance has on personal freedom. This profound perspective invites us to question our understanding of freedom in today's world. As you reflect on this, consider the similarities between the concept of modern slavery and the effects of the sweeping surveillance granted by the Patriot Act on personal freedom. Transitioning from the chilling implications of surveillance, let's shift to the 13th Amendment, ratified in 1865, which had a profound impact on the United States. This amendment abolished slavery, causing a major shift in the American economy. The South, reliant on slave labor, faced a drastic transformation as plantations became economically unviable. The abolition triggered economic diversification, leading to the South's industry and manufacturing development. However, it wasn't smooth, and the South lagged economically behind the North for decades. Furthermore, the amendment catalyzed the Great Migration of African Americans to the North, causing a significant demographic shift. The influx of labor powered the Industrial Revolution and subsequent economic growth. However, the amendment's exception clause, allowing slavery as crime punishment, has faced criticism. Critics argue that this loophole perpetuates modern slavery through mass incarceration. As we delve deeper into these historical events and their contemporary implications, we realize that the threads of freedom, legislation, and economy are intricately woven together. They shape our society in profound ways, often in manners we might not immediately recognize. As we navigate through the complexities of this historical narrative, we see how the Patriot Act, like the 13th Amendment, has molded society. The act, passed post 9/11, strengthened our national security framework by expanding law enforcement surveillance capabilities and giving them novel powers to probe potential threats. This has disrupted countless terrorist plots, bolstering national security. Yet this has raised questions around privacy and civil liberties. The act signifies a balance between security and liberty. Critics argue that its sweeping surveillance powers risk being misused, leading to privacy and civil liberties breaches. They draw parallels with concerns over the 13th Amendment's exception clause. The Patriot Act has profoundly shaped our society, influencing our security, privacy, civil liberties, and freedom conception. These legislative pieces not mere historical artifacts, but have real impacts on our lives and continue to shape our future. In our next segment, we will delve deeper into the debate surrounding the Patriot Act, exploring its implications for our society and our collective understanding of freedom and security. Shifting our focus from the legislative halls to the press rooms, we find another important player in this ongoing narrative: the media. The media's role in shaping perception around issues such as the 13th Amendment and the Patriot Act is extensive. They provide information but also frame the narrative around these contentious laws. The depiction of these laws by the media can greatly sway public opinion. For instance, the media's focus on the security benefits of the Patriot Act could encourage public support. Conversely, highlighting instances of privacy violations or abuse of power could trigger backlash. Likewise, media coverage of the 13th Amendment and contemporary slavery can either enlighten or spread false impressions. If media mainly emphasizes the amendment's role in ending slavery while ignoring its exception clause, they risk perpetuating a skewed narrative. However, balanced coverage exposing the ongoing exploitation can spark crucial debate. In essence, the media wields considerable influence over public perception and discourse about these complex issues. As consumers of media, it's vital to assess the information we receive, recognize biases, and participate in informed discussions. As we delve further into this topic in the next segment, we will explore how public opinion, shaped in part by media narratives, impacts the future of these controversial laws. As we have seen, the implications of the 13th Amendment and the Patriot Act are far-reaching, deeply woven into the fabric of our society and our daily lives. But how can we address these issues? Firstly, promoting informed media coverage is key. By supporting independent journalism and challenging media bias, we can create balanced views on these laws. Secondly, we need to self-educate, understanding the nuances and implications of these laws. Thirdly, expressing our views to our representatives can influence legislative. Lastly, we can lend our support to organizations working against modern slavery and surveillance. Assisting human rights groups, privacy advocates, and social justice initiatives can positively alter the course of these laws. It's our responsibility to shape these laws' future impact. As we wrap up this video in the next segment, we will reflect on the importance of staying informed and engaged in the face of these challenging issues. As we move towards the end of this video, let's take a moment to discuss the significance of activism. It's a key driving force for societal transformation. Activism has numerous manifestations, including peaceful protests, awareness drives, and social media campaigns. Everyone can contribute in their unique way, amplifying the collective voice for change. For instance, modern slavery activists globally are striving to shed light on this issue, prompting stronger protective laws. They not only raise awareness but also give a voice to the voiceless. Activists also challenge power misuse and demand accountability, like in the case of the Patriot Act and surveillance. They uphold our rights to privacy and freedom. Even small acts of resistance, such as informing your circle about these issues or writing to your local representative, can affect change. Staying informed, engaged, and active is crucial as we navigate further into the 21st century. We all have a role in sculpting society. Let's use our power wisely, and let's not forget that the drive for change begins with us. As we wrap up this exploration of modern slavery, surveillance, and the power of activism, it's essential to note that awareness is merely the beginning. Taking action makes the real difference. Problems might seem overwhelming, but change is a slow process, powered by consistent individual efforts. Educate yourself on key issues, understand modern slavery, comprehend surveillance laws, and recognize their impacts. Use this knowledge to guide your decisions, including your consumer choices and political preferences. Use your voice as a tool for change, whether through social media, peaceful protests, or lobbying. Remember, no action is too small. Signing a petition, volunteering at an organization, or discussing these issues can create change. As we conclude this video, we leave you with this thought: the path to a better future is paved with knowledge, action, and persistence. We each have a role to play in this journey. So, let's stand together, let's raise our voices, let's take action. Because together, we can make a difference.